Hey everyone, I hope you're having a blast wherever you are. I'm here today with a lesson on English idiomatic expressions through a short story, a super short story. Stories are a great way to learn vocabulary and idioms. The story that we're going to read today is by no means a masterpiece, but at least it gives you a context with which you can grasp the meaning of each idiom and expression. So, without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, the story is titled Who Might That Be? Now, I want to read it and you listen to me carefully in order to understand it and see how many of the expressions which I've color coded in red you already know. Okay, let's do it. It was late at night and I was about to leave my friend's apartment after hours of chewing the fat about almost everything. He had recently divorced his wife, and that was a great blight on his life, so he needed someone to talk to. Since I'm no fair weather friend and always stand by my loved ones, I was determined to stop by once in a while to have a chat with him and offer him a shoulder to cry on. Anyway, it was almost midnight and we were saying our goodbyes when we heard a knock at the door. "I'll get the door," he said with a perplexed expression. He opened the door. From where I was sitting, I couldn't see them, but that was obviously a woman's voice. It was hard to make out what they were saying as the TV was on. A couple of minutes later, my friend slammed the door and returned to me. I rose to my feet to leave. "Do you know who it was?" he asked, his eyes widened in disbelief. "No," I replied abruptly. "It was my ex-wife. Apparently she had a lapse of memory and returned to my place thinking we were still married." Okay, I hope you enjoyed the story. Now it's time to take a look at the idiomatic expressions one by one, learn their meanings, and use them in some sentences. And hopefully, you will be able to make your own sentences. And please do that because this way, you make sure that you have learned the idiom fully and you can use it confidently. The first idiom is chew the fat. And what does it mean? It means to have a long, friendly talk with somebody about something. It can be about anything, about your past, about politics, about art, music, anything. Well, as an example, we get together on the weekends to chew the fat about music and art. Okay, me and my friends, maybe we get together, we talk about music and art, we chew the fat about music and art. The next expression is blight on somebody or something. Blight is a noun itself, and you can use it with a to be verb or the verb cast. You see the collocations here in purple. Cast a blight on or be a great blight on somebody or something. And what does it mean? It means something that has a bad effect, negative effect on a situation, a person's life, or the environment. So, for example, her poor health was a blight on her schoolwork. And what does that mean? It means because she was maybe sick, she did badly at school. As a result of her poor health, her schoolwork suffered. So now it's your turn to make a sentence with blight on or a blight on somebody or something. Please do it. This expression is really useful. A fair weather friend. A fair weather friend is not a friend indeed. You have heard the saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. So they're no real friends. Keep away from a fair weather friend. If you have one, please ditch them as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay, so what does it mean? It means somebody who stops being a friend when you're in trouble. They just leave you high and dry. So, as an example, Mike never paid me a visit when I was in hospital. He's a fair weather friend. Oh, I'm sorry for him because Mike is a fair weather friend. He's not a real friend, actually. Now, it's your turn to make a sentence with that. I hope that you don't have a fair weather friend. Next on the list is a standby. It is actually a phrasal verb. And what is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is basically a verb plus a particle. Other examples include carry on, carry out, look down on, and many, many other phrasal verbs. Although phrasal verbs are very useful, non-native speakers of English are really afraid of them because with the change of the particle, the meaning changes totally, and it's a tough job to memorize them all. But you need to try and use them. Not only does it show that you're a high level speaker of English, it also helps with your fluency. So please practice them, learn them, and use them on a daily basis. Now, standby. Standby, what does it mean? It means to help somebody or be friends with them, even in difficult situations. You may stand by your friend, or you can stand by your family, or you can stand by a person you admire. So, for example, my dad always stands by me when things go wrong. When a problem arises, my father stands by me. He supports me. He never leaves me alone. And hopefully, you're a person who never leaves their family and loved ones alone and stands by them. It's your turn now to make a sentence with stand by. Go ahead and do it. Okay, moving on to the next expression. And here I have stop by. Stop by means to make a short visit somewhere. Let's say you want to give your friend something at his place and don't want to stay there for a long time, or you want to say something and then get back home. You use the expression stop by. So, for example, you can say, I'll stop by tonight to discuss the issue. Yes, you go to your friend's place and discuss something, talk about something, maybe for 10 minutes or so, and then say goodbye and you go home. Or number two, she stopped by a coffee shop to get a coffee. Now, your turn. Please make a sentence with that. Check this out. I really love this one. A shoulder to cry on. Let's say you have a friend who is sad, down in the dumps, depressed, because maybe they have lost a loved one, God forbid, and you're there for them. You want to listen to them and listen to their problems and give your sympathy because you're a fantastic, great friend. You're a friend indeed. You're not a fair weather friend. So you offer them your shoulder to cry on. As an example, I know you're sad, and if you need a shoulder to cry on, just call me. Just call me. Great sentence. Now, again, it is your turn. I'm waiting. Please make your own sentence. Go ahead. Well, another phrasal verb, make something out. Well, you know the verb understand, but we tend to overuse it all the time. I understand. I don't understand. But guys, add some spice to your English. Add some variety. Instead of using understand all the time, use some synonyms, especially a phrasal verb. Make something out. And you can use it with a WH word like make out why, what, how, etc. Now, what does it mean to understand something? Especially the reason why something has happened. As an example, I can't make out why he left so early. So you could be using understand again here. I can't understand why he left so early. No problem, but guys, come on, use make out. Huh? Well, now it's your turn. Please go ahead and make your sentence with it. Okay, rise to your feet. This one is quite straightforward. Rise to your feet, stand up. But let's say you say, I stand up to do something. No problem with that. Stand up to do something. Yeah, no problem. But rise to your feet, if you say, I rise to my feet or I rose to my feet to do something, it makes your English more native like. Of course, in some certain situations, not all the time. Rise to your feet. To stand up after you have been sitting. Okay. So, for example, you can say the teacher rose to his feet and erased the whiteboard. Oh, you rise to your feet. The past form is rose. Somebody rose to their feet. Okay. Now, I think you can make a sentence with this. How easily. It's quite easy, isn't it? Okay, please go ahead and do it. And finally, a lapse of memory. When you have a lapse of memory, you forget things, but it is not permanent, it is temporary for a short time, and then you can remember it. And the reason is because maybe you're stressed or maybe you aren't paying attention. So it means a short period of time during which you forget something. Take a look at this example. I had a lapse of memory and I couldn't remember my own cell phone number. Okay, so but maybe seconds later, 3 or 5 seconds later, I could remember it. There was no problem. Okay, so a lapse of memory. Now, again, please, your turn. Make a sentence. I'm waiting. Well, we did it. Now you're ready to listen to the story again, and this time you won't have a problem with the idioms or expressions in the story. So listen to me. I want to read it. Ready? Let's go. It was late at night and I was about to leave my friend's apartment after hours of chewing the fat about almost everything. He had recently divorced his wife and that was a great blight on his life, so he needed someone to talk to. Since I'm no fair weather friend and always stand by my loved ones, I was determined to stop by once in a while to have a chat with him and offer him a shoulder to cry on. Anyway, it was almost midnight and we were saying our goodbyes when we heard a knock at the door. I'll get the door, he said with a perplexed expression. He opened the door. From where I was sitting, I couldn't see them, but that was obviously a woman's voice. It was hard to make out what they were saying as the TV was on. A couple of minutes later, my friend slammed the door and returned to me. I rose to my feet to leave. Do you know who it was? He asked, his eyes widened in disbelief. No, I replied abruptly. It was my ex wife. Apparently, she had a lapse of memory and returned to my place thinking we were still married. And finally, we're done with the lesson. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave comments in the comment section below with your sentences containing the idiomatic expressions you learned today. Or better still, write your own story using the idioms and expressions. I look forward to reading your work. So, bye for now.